Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 355. This is your guide to the geek side, and I'm one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, joined by Charlie Chuckles Carden.
I'm chuckling. What's up? I'm trying to go with shirts that you can see on camera so they're higher up. So I love this, all the flavors of the rainbow Star Trek one, or Star Wars one I got. Oh my God, the one that I got a little while back. So enjoy slaying it. Todd is slaying it.
There we go.
I like the shirts, boys. It's festive.
Thanks.
I just have a simple Mario noping out.
No, not today. Not today, Jesus, not today.
Not today, Al Qaeda.
And that wonderful, sexy voice you hear in the background is a returning champion. Maybe a five-timer. I don't know, Joe. Maybe we have a jacket for you or something.
Five. They just did a five-time club on SNL this week. It was Paul Rudd. Just watched it.
I'm gonna get a robe next week. I now that's my Christmas gift.
It's gonna be just like Cousin Eddie in Vacation. It's way too short. It shows off the parts. It's perfect for you. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's Mr. Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit, video game extraordinaire, and one of the best PlayStation podcast land. PS Trophy Room, or just Trophy Room now.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. What's up, boys?
Joe always on message.
I know.
It's like a soundboard, human soundboard. What I push? I don't know. We're doing this.
Absolutely, dude. It's always in my head, and it comes out so naturally. I've actually said it on 3 interviews, and everybody were just like, "Excuse me now," and I'm like, "I got it. It's all programmed up here, man."
I'm still working on mine after 355 episodes. It's right 50% of the time.
Can't do it.
Well, we are going to have a good time. This is going to be our holiday episode, so I'm wearing a festive shirt. We're going to be talking about some festive things, along with this wonderful festive cover, Incredible Hulk number 355. I don't know what's going on, but the power of rainbows is compelling the Hulk.
I didn't even realize the correlation between that and my very rainbowy shirt. So I totally dig that.
Yeah, and the dialogue's a little dicey here. It says, "Don't struggle, Hulk. I just want to give you your wildest dreams." This is like an after school special, I think.
I need an adult.
So
folks wearing those sexy pinstripey pants with a belt. Pants aren't even ripped, which means they're the right size.
He was dressing business casual.
Right. Well, this was Mr. Fix It. He was he was a fixer.
But
somebody took his shirt. So it's maybe that's the real crux of the mystery of the issue is where's my shirt and my shoes and my hat.
No service for this man.
No.
Thumbs down.
No. Where he shops, nobody knows, but hey, it's fantastic. Love it. Yeah. So the man is tackling him with rainbows. Never seen this character before, but the Hulk does not look like he's wanting to not struggle.
And never again.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of never again, which is I think what each of us say after a night out with this crazy lady, Madam Web is waiting for us down at the corner of Hollywood and Vine to give us all the latest takes, the abbreviated version, this week with Rumors and News with Madam Web. So let's make it happen.
Now it's time for Madam Web's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Web. Oh, Madam Web, I hope you have all your Christmas shopping done. We talked about this last week. Shipping, you're working at the warehouse these days, looking through everybody's packages, finding what you could give to others. So if you guys don't get your package from Amazon this year, blame Madam Web.
It's re-gifting. Involuntary re-gifting. It's terrible. Terrible. I don't like it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, first story this week. Charlie has pulled these stories for us. And essentially, we are getting Shazam news, Fury of the Gods. It's rumored to feature a cameo from Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. This is going to be an interesting one because this will be coming out post Black Adam with The Rock and his eyebrow. And this will essentially be a movie where we've got everyone's established. So DC often struggles with their sophomore films. Like the first film's really good, and then they struggle, like Wonder Woman 84. We'll see if they can
that
pull
movie's
this off.
unwatchable.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah,
Cast.
she definitely needs a little bit more Q factor. She is kind of at the bottom of the pile. So let's hope. I love that first Shazam film. So I would find it hard to believe that they could do anything that would really bum me out. So that's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, I really dug the first Shazam way more than I thought I would. I think a lot of people walking in going, Shazam, what? And I often think that is kind of we give the benefit of the doubt for the unknown superhero movies that like Shang-Chi, for example, right? We're like, who the hell is Shang-Chi? And then we get a kick-ass kung fu movie and we're like, yo, Shang-Chi's dope, right?
Word.
So when it comes to Shazam, I'm actually really looking forward to the sequel. Lucy Liu's in it, and she could punch me twice in the throat and once in the mouth. So I'm all on board with this, man. All on board with it. So, when it comes to Gal Gadot, hopping in that world for a quick second, it's cool that this is them now trying to connect the world that they just broke, but they also have to kind of tread lightly here because, man, DC has not been good at the world building. They've rather been kind of hit or miss. So when trying to reconnect the dots, I just hope that they have this time a cohesive vision that they are willing to 110% back. And that's my thing, because if we get another Wonder Woman 3 and it is another, Wonder Woman 2 situation, well, yeah, I think they're in trouble here. So for me, I though I'm excited, I'm cautiously optimistic for it.
I anticipate a couple of things. This makes sense because Wonder Woman is really tied to like mythology. Shazam is as well with the Greek gods, all of those things. So it's kind of a good mix to have those characters together. But I also anticipate, and I hope we get it, another Pitbull cover song like we got in Aquaman.
Boy, I mean that's really where it was at. Everybody knows that. Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. I'm in. Could be the greatest.
Joe, do you love or really love Pitbull?
Revere the man. This man is ageless. This man is the Beatles need to take a step back. The Rolling Stones need to take a step back. Pitbull is just a lyricist of our generations and just past. I think actually we probably I can't lie. That guy's dog shit. He is like the Dalai, and that's all that's how you know Pitbull's about to come on, because he says that dumb word and then he just starts vomiting from the mouth, and we try to clap and cheer him on. Like, you got this, man. You'll power through.
He is this generation's MC Hammer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
in the slammer like MC Hammer.
Yes. So we'll see how this goes. I think this should be fun, and this comes out June 2nd, 2023. So still a long ways off. So I guess we'll see how this pans out. And like I said, I'm really excited to see what The Rock does, bringing Black Adam, bring those worlds together. Gal Gadot, Shazam, Wonder Woman. It's going to be slamming.
Slamming. All right. Well, you got to get us a better link to this next story, because I click on it and it's like, sign up to my crappy website. So if you're not having the same issues as me, you take the lead and I'll just fake it along.
I got this one from Collider. I'll read it.
All right.
All right. Take it away.
Kick-Ass movie reboot coming in 2 years reveals Matthew Vaughn, quote unquote, it's so... Oh, let me bleep myself.
Love it.
I need to learn how to bleep myself. Not that I would ever do it, but I think that's fun. I like it.
Oh yeah. So he says it's so effing nuts I can't talk about it, but we got that ready to go. All rights revert back in 2 years. Then we're going to reboot it where people will be like, he is insane. That's a quote.
An ass will be kicked. Watch out.
Yeah.
Charlie, put the link in there as well if you want to play along.
Asses of fire.
Yes. Yeah. So, I heard about this because this is a unique one. I believe Kick-Ass is not. It's a Marvel. It was published by Marvel, and I don't know if it really takes place in the Marvel world in regards to the comics, but it was part of their creator-owned line. So it's kind of unique that you get something that was published by Marvel, but is not owned by Marvel. So apparently there were some partnerships. Matthew Vaughn actually self-funds a lot of his movies to basically keep rights, which is kind of interesting. Like
Right.
he owns like Newsman. Yeah.
That's what George Lucas did with Empire Strikes Back. So, I mean, one of the good Star Wars movies. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah. So, and this series I remember the first comic and and then the movie. It was really kind of crazy, a little interesting, a little different, with the edge that Matthew Vaughn always brings to the table. And then the second one, I think maybe went a little too over the top with Jim Carrey, maybe a little too much for people. I don't know, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think I watched the second one. I don't know why I didn't. But the first one was so wild, violent, and just really, like, surprisingly, at least to me, and maybe again it's been years, but like incredibly well written for what it was. And I really dug that first film. I remember when Nicolas Cage is like he like, it's in the trailer where he's like Chloe Grace Moretz, she's like standing like 7 feet away. He's like, "All right, honey, are you ready?" "Yeah, Dad." And she just like shoots her in the chest. And I'm like, oh my God, what type of film is this? And you just see that this little girl is just the biggest killing machine. It's just ridiculous. So I'm in. Go. This is awesome. Go be crazy.
Go all up in there. My goodness. Yes, we shall see. Well, this was a short news week because we kind of have bigger fish to fry, if I'm not mistaken. So in doing that, we got to get back on that Uber app. You got to find a cab from the Don't Ask, Don't Tell cab company to get us back downtown to the skeeviest destination in Geekland. That would be the Geek Easy to talk about what we're enjoying this week. So, boys, let's go.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, cover band's playing, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. So, Joe, what have you been watching or reading?
I've been watching a couple of things. First, I've been watching Hawkeye. It is way better than I thought it would be.
Oh, yes.
Man. It is probably right next to Loki, my favorite MCU show. Very good. Enjoying myself a lot with that. But I do want to geek out on a show that everybody needs to watch, and that is a show on Netflix called Arcane. This show is based on a game called League of Legends, which I have played once, that I do not care about this world one bit, but this show has made me want to know what this world is all about. If you love animation, the movie that made me fall in love with animation hard was Into the Spider-Verse. This, you could see, is a love letter to that type of ambitious animation. So go take a look at it. This is definitely an adult animated show. So like, you got sex, violence, and I mean like some gore in there as well. And it's a show that it's incredibly well written. I think it had like almost a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. So like, people are really seeming to love it. So go check out Arcane, for the love of God.
Yeah, it's well voice acted as well. The story is cohesive. It's not a lot of, I don't understand this world. No, the world's pretty easy to understand. It's beautiful and compelling.
Gorgeous.
And yeah, once again, it takes a property that, yes, there's a dedicated fan base for, but for a large part of gaming even, they don't play the game. So it's not like, you've got to have played it or something like that. I like what they're doing, though. Riot's doing a great job of expanding the gaming and all these things outside of just that one core franchise.
And Haley Steinfeld is also the voice of the main.
Oh, I didn't realize
actress.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's in everything this holiday, man.
God,
What
so good.
doesn't she do? God, that show's so great. And I assume we're all caught up on Hawkeye, so the big reveal this week blew all the minds.
Yep,
the
episode
doors.
5. Yep.
Boom. Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's all coming together.
Yeah, so I mean, and we're gonna talk about this as we talk about Spider-Man. Is all the things that they're peppering now are just coming together, which I find very cool. And this is a surprising one because Hawkeye is only 6 episodes, which is the shortest they've ever done. So in a way, I think that maybe that's a good thing, because I don't know the storyline would have been really effective playing out over 9 or 10 episodes, but this feels right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was also 6. I'm sure of it, and wasn't Loki as well? 6 is the norm, I think.
Let me double check, boys. Double check.
Yeah. What if was longer, but it was the.
What
story,
if Charlie? You and I could never figure out how long that What If was because we think it's 8, we think it's 9.
It's 7 episodes. It's 8 episodes. Maybe it's 12 episodes. Yeah, exactly correct. So
yeah, nobody
you're right.
Really knew.
It's a single story that doesn't require a lot of. They had a flashback here, a flashback there, and that was all just well and good. But yeah,
well, and you've got that deadline to Halloween to Christmas.
Yes,
right?
they got to keep it rolling to Halloween. Oh my goodness! So anyway, moving along, we good? Are we still talking about Hawkeye? What's going on?
No, you're good. You're good.
Joe, just fill us in when you get done with your reporting.
Yes, exactly.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was also 6 episodes. That, let's be honest, could have been shrunk down to 4. It was very good.
Sure. Come on.
WandaVision was 8 episodes.
Right.
Which was, I think,
adequate.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Loki, which is just incredible, was, let's see here, the moment of truth. 6 episodes. So
really
6 episodes
is the norm. Then
I told you.
Why do I feel like it was?
It's almost like I said that.
Yeah,
that's because they did so much.
That's right.
That's crazy. All right, okay, moving along. I was talking about this in the pre-roll, and it was funny. It was spurred by the fact April and I were at lunch yesterday, and she's looking at her phone, and somebody had posted a meme of a Toyota Highlander, and it had stick figures that were all beheaded, and a guy at the end with a sword. So there can only be one. So we started talking and about the movie, and I said, I don't know that I've ever seen that movie. Of course, people always talk about it because it's famous. And she's like, you've not seen that movie? Because she said, I saw that movie when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
On TV or something.
Oh, yeah, Charlie. Like, yeah, this is like...
No, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew all about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
He was an immortal, blah, blah. So I get on, Just Watch. I find out that it's available on Prime. And we go home and watch it. So we watched it this morning. And then I worked a toy show middle of the day, and I came back and we finished it. I'm going to go on record as saying this movie was awful. Absolutely awful. Could not believe how super duper dated it was. Like in the beginning, opening scene, you've got, Christopher Lambert as I tell you, nobody has more of a muddled European accent this side of Victor Newman than this dude. You don't know what he's talking about, but he's sitting in Madison Square Garden for a wrestling match, and everybody around him is just losing their. It's packed. It's packed like a basketball game. People are screaming and blah, blah, blah. And I'm already thinking, okay, well, this movie is just a caricature of the 80s. It's just dumb.
Well, Charlie, that's how people behave at wrestling. Like today, that's how people are at wrestling matches. They lose their shit.
Because one guy turns, he's like, can you believe it? Can you believe what's happening? Da-da-da-da-da. And it's just, oh my God. So from there, this movie then proceeds to execute upon any trope that I can possibly imagine. We do get an appearance from Sean Connery. Of course, he's great.
And he's Spanish in this movie.
And he's Spanish, but Egyptian. He also says he's 2,500 years old. But no, he goes back. Yeah, hola, exactly.
Hola, Trebek.
Suck it, Trebecco.
Le tits now. Oh.
No, it makes more sense.
The penis more mightier. Yes.
Oh my God. So anyway, yeah, and then Clancy Brown is the villain, which I love because Clancy Brown is the villain on Dexter New Blood right now, which we just watched.
He's the villain in everything.
I know, but I get Clancy Brown from the beginning to the present. It was just in one day's viewing. So anyway, I know, and again, the soundtrack by Queen is amazing. Great songs that are in there. I enjoyed that, but I mean, even the sex scene was gratuitous. It just poses and stuff and this and that, and the guy's apartment was crazy. He had this big wraparound sofa that seated like 50 people, but I'm like, this guy doesn't have any friends. Why is his apartment so structured to entertaining?
He got a good deal.
I have because April said, well, he's owned it for 1,700 years. I'm like, honey, they didn't build that apartment. The Native Americans didn't build his apartment building 1,700 years ago. I'm pretty sure he bought it and outfitted it. So it was, it's just one of those without the rosy colored glasses. You're like,
not very good.
What's going on here?
Well, it was a low budget movie at the time, Charlie. So at the time, it was considered,
and
this guy has directed not great things. So it's not like he has a great history of great direction. I mean, he's got a long list. He apparently directed
Right.
all of Elton John's music videos. If you look, holy crap, Russell
Good for him.
Mulcahy, look him up.
Did he direct I'm Still Standing? 'Cause that
Elton
was a
John,
great
Healing
music video.
Hands, Elton John, A Word in Spanish, Elton John, Town of Plenty, I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That, all of his videos. Def Leppard.
Those were all from that same time period. the
Yeah,
late
he was a
80s,
big
so
music
that's interesting.
director. I think that was where he really got
okay.
found. Yeah.
That's why he and Queen did so great. So anyway, through the rose-colored glasses of time, I don't think it'd be enjoyable to a first-time viewer. So
Probably
interesting.
it's still probably better than Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior, which he also directed.
Oh my god! And two, which must have been direct to video. So, other than that, I enjoyed Hawkeye this week. I enjoyed Star Trek Discovery, of course, this week, which is my other weekly show right now. Went back to kind of a Planet of the Week format where they Burnham, who's our captain, and Book, who is her boyfriend and another character on the show, we're stuck in this. Kind of morality play of the week where they needed to evacuate a planet, but they turned out that the planet had 6 people that were trapped in a prison that the people who they were evacuating wouldn't let go, and it was interesting. Todd, where are you at with Discovery? Have you started?
Still on 2. I need to episode 2 of the season. I need to get back into it, so I will. Do that.
I liked it, and I talked about last week's episode how they would focus on the character of Tilly, who I'm just kind of done with. So this was a nice return to things that are more Star Trek-ly. Like I said, kind of the Planet of the Week and the Moral Dilemma. So I enjoyed that. So, but again, we're dealing with the unstoppable space anomaly. And we meet a new kind of arrogant jerkwad civilian scientist in this week's episode that you kind of get the vibe might have something to do with it, but you don't really know. So we're going to keep tracking along. But yeah, it's not really been blowing the doors off, but they could pull out a surprise. This show has been good for pulling out those mid-season surprises. So let's see if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, Discovery is still one of the best Star Trek shows in my opinion. So they may hit this. They haven't had a sophomore slump yet. So maybe this is their senior slump because they're in
Senior
season.
slump?
Yeah, maybe.
What comes after the senior slump?
Well, that's your 5th year senior or your red shirt.
right.
Your red shirt senior, I guess. Fresh. I don't know. Whatever.
You don't want to be a red shirt and at least the original incarnation of Star Trek. So that's bad.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll wrap it up with a little bit of holiday cheer. So I have watched. I'm trying to watch more holiday stuff this year. Just give me a better mood. Just enjoy the season. So the first one I watched was 8-Bit Christmas. This is on HBO Max. This is a new holiday film, and this is basically a Christmas story for my generation, the olds. What are we calling ourselves?
Yes.
Generation X.
We absolutely loved it, even though it did seem to be littered with a lot of inaccuracies. Kind of felt like the Goldbergs with its time.
Well, they played around with that, Charlie. Yeah, they definitely played. So if anybody who's not watched this, basically, this is about a Christmas that, once again, Neil Patrick Harris is a dad telling his daughter about how, as a kid, this is how he got his NES back in the day. So it's a flashback, and he's kind of narrating it as you go along, kind of like Princess Bride with Peter Falk talking to his grandson. Same thing here, but it's how he's regaling about how he got the NES. He even struggles with the year, and he tells his daughter, I think it was this, I think it was that. It's like maybe 1988. So it just, they play around fast and loose with it. It was all about this kid, and all the kids at the time wanted an NES. So I can totally relate. I got my NES, bought it off my neighbor, and that's how I got my NES. And this is all about how we got it. It's just this funny story, definitely embracing all of the 80ness of that time, but highly enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, lots of fun little cameos. Steve Zahn plays the dad of Neil Patrick Harris, and it ultimately did a really good job of just making fun of Joe, like the Power Glove. Like all these kids were so excited because
awesome.
This kid was the first person to get the Power Glove, and they just couldn't wait to see what it could do. That was going to change games, and well, go from there. But yeah, they just had a blast. It even gets into like the Boy Scouts, giving away an NES and all these contests. So really enjoyed it. Really fun. It's not like a great movie. It's just a fun movie that if you're in that era, even if you just love games, you can relate to video game culture and kind of like how it comes about. And it was really fun. I just enjoyed it quite a bit.
Glad you liked it, man. I am thinking about jumping into that film because I feel I heard it's the same people that made the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie,
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. I heard.
Are you serious?
I heard
That's a Twin Cities classic right there.
So I gotta check it out. But my brother showed me the trailer, and it was something that we're definitely gonna have a nice little sop too, because that's similar to how we had it growing up. So.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Fun fact: crazy. They made a Jingle All the Way 2 with Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh wow.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah. So
God, I could have lived all my life without knowing that.
Well, now you know. Now you have to watch it, or at least watch the trailer. Is all I'll say. Watch the trailer.
Burdened with knowledge.
that would be Jingle none of the way.
Yeah,
so it would be. I'm trying to think how you would then take his catchphrase, "Get her done," and turn it into like a holiday greeting.
Oh, you know they tried.
I know. There's got to be a pun or something. Get her fun. God. I don't.
Moving on to something else.
Yeah. So then, lastly, as we're late to the party decorating our tree, we finally got it done today. And as we were doing that, the wife said, "Hey, let's watch something festive in the background." So we put on a movie called Klaus. Okay. Klaus. This is on Netflix. It's 2 years old, and this movie was wonderful. It's animated. The visual style is fantastic, but essentially it's about this kid whose dad's like the postmaster general of Denmark, and it's set in like 1885 or something like that, but animated. And his son's a ne'er-do-well. Kind of reminds me of how the Emperor got his groove back. That character, witty, funny, David Spade doing his thing. I'm not sure who voiced the main character, but very much a ne'er-do-well, but his dad sends him off and says, "You're going to make your way into the world of postmasters or whatever." So he sends him off to this deep, dark village in the middle of Denmark that nobody wants to go to. And his benchmark is he's got 6,000 letters sent to redeem himself. And this town looks like a mass murder might have happened because it's all shut down. And you don't know why. And you find out there's this big feud between the families that are there and creates it's just a very dank place. But you start seeing the heart of it because you start seeing the characters come out and what they do. And just really the relationship between the main character, whose name is Jeppers, meets a certain someone who potentially will start delivering gifts to boys and girls, and then meets a teacher who basically, since there's no kids to teach, he becomes a fishmonger. But you can kind of start seeing how these three will form a relationship. But it's hilarious. It's well animated, just beautiful. Voice talent's great. Really good dialogue and music. The music cues are really funny because some of them are modern, which sometimes can be really bad, sometimes really good. And this one I thought was a very funny melding of those. So if you want to watch something newer in an animated fashion that's not dumb and it's not horrible, Klaus is good.
Oh, wow. It's a Netflix animated show too. Okay.
It absolutely is. 90 minutes long. Yeah. And it's like I said, it's really high value. Netflix is really bringing the animation to the table, and I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Magnificent.
All right. Well, that is it for the Geek Easy. So, gentlemen, now I hope you came well packed, because we're going to get out of here, get on a plane, and make our way over to the Thunderdome.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
Thank you, Tina. We're sitting in the Thunderdome where the mutants have been gathered for a topic or a game to be entertained. And this week, we are talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. And sorry, Tina, I don't know if this movie has come to the Thunderdome yet. So by all means, spoilers are ahead. So if you and the mutants have not seen it, come back.
Todd, you know what we ought to do if we really want to get in the mutants' good graces? We need to get Sony and Disney to get a print down there to screen just for the mutants. I think it would go a long way. So let's make some interrogatives and see if we can make this thing happen.
Okay, so along with Tina, if you've not watched the movie, come back after you watch it, because there will be spoilers ahead. So, Spider-Man No Way Home. This is the third Spider-Man movie by Sony. with our current cast. Basically, at this point, Spidey was revealed to be Peter Parker, and he's doing all he can to get his life back into order and keep the people he loves out of trouble. And he basically makes a deal with the devil with Doctor Strange. And there we go. This movie, I mean, it's doing great, is all I can say. It's made about $254 million. It's actually the third biggest opening, regardless of COVID or whatever. It's huge. And I know there's still people that are waiting to see it next week, which, with the holiday break and stuff, I anticipated that. So it's going to be big, and this is great news for box office. And if you guys are vaccinated and boosted, go ahead and have a good time. If you're not,
yes, please.
I don't know when you'll see it. So
also just get it. You're not,
yes,
just get it.
Just jump in.
I just do it. It's okay. My wife got her booster today.
Or else I heard Joe Rogan.
Totally fine.
Joe Rogan said that you could run off the nearest goddamn cliff and you'll fly. So,
Wow. And you know what?
Options.
Oh, wait, Joe, are you saying get vaccinated or just get COVID? I wasn't sure.
Just jump off a fucking cliff. We don't need you anymore.
Okay. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Joe, thank you for coming because you're a guest. I don't have Todd saying, well, you can't say that when I say shit like that. So you might wait here. Get ready. I want you to bleep me when I say this. You ready?
All right. Go for it.
Okay. Well, what I really want to say is, you're supposed to bleep me. Come on, where's the bleep?
It only works for me. It only works for me.
Man.
No, Joe can't control what we're doing here. It's very hard to do. Oh, well, pivoting back, gentlemen. So we all saw this movie. I saw it on Friday. Charlie, you saw it on Thursday. Joe, you saw it Friday?
Opening night. Friday morning. Friday morning,
as well as I did. So very cool. Yeah. Movie's 2.5 hours long, and it essentially had 2 after credit scenes, one mid, one post. So definitely, hopefully you stayed for both. And then we're going to now talk about our impressions of the movie and then thoughts about, what does this mean for the larger picture of things? And we'll go from there. So Joe, since you're our guest, why don't you kick us off? Tell us your thoughts about this movie.
I think I just walked out of one of, if not the best MCU movies. Like, this was phenomenal. And it was probably one of the best paced MCU movies as well. There was never a moment that felt wasted. Every scene to me was necessary and integral to keep the show going. So I never felt bored because there was always something next to look forward to. But what I really love about this movie is it starts off as a Spider-Man MCU, he's a kid, he's in high school, all this stuff. And what you really find by the end of this movie is this is actually an origin movie. This is Peter's origins of how he truly becomes the Spider-Man that we know. All the things that we didn't like, or some people didn't like about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, how he was like Iron Man Jr. and, how he hasn't had that significant loss. He's always tied to Stark somehow, some way. At the end of this film, all that baggage from the MCU leaves. And now we have the Spider-Man that we know that has had that traumatic loss, the speech of with great power comes great responsibility, and reusing that line because they know that it is the best line and doing it with purpose. And so where this movie does a whole lot of fanfare, you got Andrew Garfield, you got Toby, you got Matt Murdock. My theater, this is how you're filled with a crowd of fucking nerds. Sorry,
big time. I know. And when the other two walked in as well, all the hooting and hollering did not break down for a good 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, when Matt Murdock was there, the people got up and started cheering. And then when Matt Murdock catches the brick that's thrown through the window, you see on Peter's face, as I saw the second time, Peter knows there is something with this lawyer. There's more than meets the eye. And he's like, how did you do that? And he's just like, I'm a really good lawyer. And I'm like, I love it. Oh, he's back. He's back. And with the latest Hawkeye episode, the sky is the limit.
It's
I
all
am
coming
so
together.
happy.
It's
Yeah.
all pushing out. It's
and-
pushing out.
And you
That
know,
said,
Joe, I was going to say,
for it.
and once they showed Matt Murdock, I'm like, yep, they're going for it. They're all in, and that's when you think, what else is going to happen?
Yeah. And the best thing, and I think this is truly Marvel writing at its best, when they can predict how the audience is going to think in that time. So like when you see Andrew Garfield come up, right? And they're in my abuela's living room and Zendaya throws the bread at like Andrew. Zendaya is in disbelief as well as the audience. You're through her perspective at this point in time. And so when she's like, well, if you're Spider-Man, why didn't you react? He's like, just, I don't react to you throwing bread at me. You know? Those moments are so powerful when Marvel plays along with you, with your emotions, and it carries through. Like this movie at the same exact time, you know, jokes about, hey, Toby, where do you get that goddamn spider web? What's that all about? Like, how do you get it? It's coming out of you. Where else does it come out of you? Like it plays with those things in a funny way, while at the same exact time, it gives a really good. It's Spider-Man at its best because he is trying to do the best thing, and the best thing always ends up having the worst consequence for him. So, like by trying to rehabilitate these heroes, one thing that I heard that some people didn't like was like, well, it felt like, you know, Aunt May was stupid in her thinking of like, oh, just rehabilitate these people. And, you know, they're just 6 people. Just let them, you know, or 4 people. Just let them die. Who gives a shit? But, you know, to me, the Aunt May thinking is like on the micro and macro level of like, if you're able to fix these people, look at how much good that they can do. Like if you just fix Doc Ock alone, he can help make the world a better place for that universe. So it's some cool thinking there. And I think at the end of the day, this movie is so good at not even having a clear villain, but having a clear purpose, that at the end of it, I just walked away going, wow, this is unlike anything I've seen from the MCU, and definitely from what Sony can do. So I walked away absolutely loving this movie.
I found Norman Osborn to be so much more villainous. And it's weird because you realize obviously that since he died, and it was the same thing with Octavius, that they were plucked. And again, you know, your suspension of disbelief. Yeah, he looks 20 years older. It's okay. But he was essentially plucked from the past. But that we saw, you know, we watched what April and I, we did kind of the reverse. What everybody did is everybody was like, oh, I'm going to watch all the Spider-Man movies and then go see this. So I think I had Far From Home on Thursday during the day. We went to go see this movie, and then when we came home, we watched Tobey Spider-Man 1 and 2, and then Tobey Spider-Man 1 hasn't aged well at all.
Yeah.
It's super corny. It's like, I mean, my God, Macy Gray does a musical number in the middle of it during the Oscorp World Unity Festival. I mean, just cut the shit. Knock it off. It's bad. But he's so much more of a later 21st century movie character, where he's malevolent, just murders Aunt May. He's beating the shit out of Tom Holland's Peter Parker. He's terrifying.
Dude, he's terrifying when he's beating the shit out of him, right? And he's just laughing, and Willem Dafoe's face is selling it. In that moment, I was like, holy shit, if they do a killing joke, I want him to be the Joker.
Right. Oh my God.
Chaotic.
It was off the chain. He, from a villainy standpoint, made this film hands down, because the other villains in it, Jamie Foxx, I guess, but he was still kind of Jamie Foxxing it. You're like, he's got an arc reactor, and he's kind of more of a threat, but he's just kind of still, you know, Jamie Foxx from In Living Color. You know what I mean? I just can't take it seriously.
What a good pull. The thing that the thing that I liked about it was just they're like, listen, we know you're here for Doc Ock and Green Goblin, so we're
Right.
just going to give them most of the lines, and we understand that the Amazing Spider-Man villains are not amazing, so
Right.
we'll give Jamie Foxx lines because I believe he won an Oscar or was up for one.
Right.
The other lizard dude, we'll give him 3 lines, and he's lucky he's there.
Yeah, exactly. And then they changed him back and he was naked and then you
Yeah.
didn't see him again. And yeah, with Thomas Hayden Church, you didn't see his face until I believe he was cured. Otherwise, he was just Sandy.
Yeah,
He was just Sandy.
Yep.
So I spent most of the movie wondering, I'm like, did they even get him for this?
Oh yeah.
I thought maybe it was just like what they did with the Ghost of Harold Ramis, literally in Ghost.
Well, they still had to get his voice though. I mean,
Yeah.
still doing.
Well, I mean, but I mean, people can mimic voices and stuff.
I don't know if they're. I don't know. Maybe he's contractually obligated if you play that character. I don't know what's in his contract. But it was funny because if you think about the way, and I'm just going to layer this on, you think about the different Spideys and the time that they were made in their movies. Obviously, Tobey Maguire, they said that was inspired for the Stanley era. So very cheesy. Sam Raimi made it cheesy. That was his take. It's very goofy, over the top. If you've seen his Evil Dead movies, that's what he does. He puts in a lot of cornball cheesy humor. And then you kind of had the take with Toby, how Toby kind of came back, was always kind of the milquetoast. Once again, the joke about, what are you, a Methodist?
Oh, no, he's a hip youth pastor.
Exactly.
Was his outfit.
Which, yeah, that was kind of what the what Peter Parker
We're gonna
was.
rap about the Lord. You bet.
The uber geek, the not hip, he was made fun of.
Yeah.
And then you went to, but still a lot of people were tied to that character in his arc because it was really the first movie that really captured Spider-Man. So very cool. Then you get to Andrew Garfield, which I didn't love those movies at all. I thought Andrew Garfield was, once again, not a good Peter Parker in regards to the fact he was too hip, too cool, too attractive. Nobody didn't like him.
He had a skateboard. Need I say more?
But he was. Then he had the, and they gave him basically the when they talked to him, he was like, he didn't feel like he was worthy. He felt like, I hadn't gone through those things. I didn't have these cool lives. So I like the fact that they kind of focused on the fact that you're the Spider-Man that people just kind of forgotten about, that didn't get a good movie.
There was a line. He's like, hey, like Toby literally goes to Andrew. He's like, hey, you're amazing. And I want you to stop this inner talk that you're talking right now, because you're great. And honestly, he was great. Like Andrew Garfield to me was fucking awesome in that movie, because Andrew Garfield's a great actor that was given a shitty script, a la, have we seen Venom 1 and Venom 2?
Yes.
There's great actors in there given dramatically awful scripts. And because of that, the movies are unwatchable. And so like with Andrew Garfield, it's like, yeah, no, he's a good Spider-Man. He was just given bad scripts.
And a director I think a director that movie was not, that series not made for. He made romantic comedies or those type of movies. And I just feel like that director was the wrong choice. And they even talked about the fact a lot of that movie had a lot of just improv between and you just feel like very, very off. But yeah, so I think a lot of the ways they kind of addressed everyone coming together, that was a lot of fun. I want to give kudos to the director, because this director, before these Spider-Man movies, made one small independent film. And to go from that to what he had to put together, tie together through the script and do all this together, so it didn't feel like a cheese ball. It didn't feel like uber fan service. It still med the plot, had to do a direct landing into the middle of 25 MCU films, bringing the pieces together. I mean, that's fantastic.
Right. I particularly loved it. And again, I love the Statue of Liberty. First of all, I love the Statue of Liberty. That's a thing. My single visit to New York City was in 2004. Just a couple of years after 9/11, the Statue of Liberty was still closed. So I did not get to go. I did get to ride the Staten Island Ferry and see it from a very great distance. That's as close as I've ever been to Statue of Liberty. I've got to get back to New York City because I really, really want to experience it firsthand. It's a life goal of mine. But I love that in this film. And again, I was like, why did I feel like I knew they were giving it a shield? Because they said it in Hawkeye last week. It was a drop in Hawkeye last week.
How is she holding that shield? She's holding the torch. Is it on her sleeve? Is it like
it's a plot device?
It's vibranium plot. It's a vibranium plot device. A big steaming pile of foreshadowing. Yeah. But I love that they're sitting and they're having their rap, and he's like, Tom Holland gets his guys, we're not working as a team. That's why we can't make any progress. He says, we're too used to being on our own. He says, I've been on a team. I've been on the Avengers. And Choby's like, oh my God, the Avengers. What is that? What is it? But what's funny? I'll give you a name actually here. When we were watching Toby Spider-Man 2, and they're trying to, J. Jonah Jameson is going back and forth with Sam Raimi's brother in real life, who is his assistant. They're trying to come up with a name for Dr. Octopus. His assistant guy says Doctor Strange, and then J. Jonah Jameson goes, "That's great, but it's taken." So there's a Doctor Strange in the Tobyverse. Oh, so what?
Doctor Strange was never on the Avengers at that time.
Yes, but they make it sound like there's no other super characters in the other two Spider-Man's universes.
Hey, who knows? Who knows now?
I know. But yeah, I just, oh my gosh. No, just watching them together. And then, I mean, the moment that, I get a little verklempt was the Andrew Garfield Gwen redemption moment.
Yeah, that was good.
When he says MJ, oh my God. And he just breaks down crying. And I don't know, she didn't know why, but she figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah. Dude,
so
that moment where they're on the high school, roof, he's like, I lost my MJ. And it's like, and you see that he's struggling with that, and that he has this arc that does need to be fulfilled, where Toby's arc is fine. Like he doesn't need fixing. And I feel like in this movie, they're just like, we're going to make, you never had the closure that you deserved.
Yep.
Right. So we're going to do it in this movie right here. And I really dug that. And again, they gave Andrew Garfield a lot more than I thought they gave Toby. And honestly, I think it worked out better for the film that way. I do want to say the Aunt May scene, when I watched that a second time with my brother, and when the glider runs into her, and my brother's like, "Oh fuck!" Literally, he's just like, "Oh crap!" Sorry, I keep cursing. But when she gets up, I hear my brother go, "Oh, thank God!" And then when she collapses again, when she puts the hand on his chest, going, "With great power comes great responsibility," I hear my brother go, "Oh no, it's gonna." And then when she collapses, he's like, "I knew it."
You've been Uncle Ben.
All the stages of grief. That scene was powerful.
So, and to that point, I think we all assumed the same thing happened. Uncle Ben died, told him that line, and that's how we got it. It was
universal.
We don't even know if there was an Uncle Ben. We don't know if May was married, to be honest, and it wasn't important.
Right. Well, and you don't understand the familial connection of how he ended up with her. She is his guardian, but you don't know why. You know what I mean? There's nothing.
He calls her May.
About.
I don't think he calls her Aunt May. So she could be a friend of the family. So to his point, it's
but they do have the same last name.
Sure.
As you see,
and then you see
in her tombstone.
And you say guardian because that's a legal status, meaning
I
have the ability to make decisions for you versus just I'm living with my aunt and I can do whatever the F I want because I'm my cousin.
Right.
So I think it was really neat that they did that because once again we didn't want to see the same origin story for the 80th time. We didn't.
Right.
And then to your point, we're now at a point where Joe, I think it's a great point. This is his origin story. He's now essentially at ground zero of he's the lovable loser, doesn't have any money. He's, struggling to make, pay work. The Avengers don't know who he is. So it's not like he can just call his buddies up now and get everything solved for him. So like that Happy Hogan thing at the end, he didn't come back and say, oh, by the way, I'm Spider-Man. We know each other. No. And then he also the point of like finding them and him not continuing to pursue to say, hey, I'm Peter was a really good turn of event.
And I want to give a shout out to my brother. That this was his thought. I'm stealing from him. He finally realizes the importance of that identity, the secret identity. Because he could literally when he's Spider-Man, take off the mask, go, "Hey, Happy, look at who I am," but he's not going to do that because that's a rich man's luxury that he can't afford, and he learned that the hard way. Right. So, to me, I think what is the perfect arc is encapsulated by two quotes. One that is, Peter's entry point into the MCU with Civil War when he says, when you could do the things I can, but you don't, and the bad things happen, they happen because of you. Right. And then that arc is closed with great power comes great responsibility. It's like they have molded him into what is now, bam, Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yep. And you see the suit he makes at the end. It's not a fancy suit. It's a bright blue. And it
is 100% comic accurate, even though it's shown in shadow. But again, April and I always have a chuckle. Like, it's a great thing that you are a high school dropout and an amazing seamstress. That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey,
Or
multitasking.
what do they call a male person who sews? A seamster? He's a male seamster?
Sure.
He's a
Teamster,
seamster, dude.
like a teamster.
He's a teamster.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a teamster. Ah, no teamsters.
Yeah, so obviously every villain I think got at least a touch point, which is good. Now obviously they were blinked back to where they're at, where apparently they're not dead now, which is good. And our Spideys in a different spot. And apparently Tobey Maguire, even though stabbed, has no blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said he's been stabbed a lot.
Maybe it's all.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just in the back. Maybe it's just.
Yeah,
And
maybe he stabbed him in the bunch of a middle of scar tissue, and it was just deflected.
I do want to say this before we wrap up this discussion, that I'm so sorry I stole so much of it. Is
No, by all means, that's why you're here, bud. You're the guy, even more so than me. And I'm a Spidey guy going back 35 years. But
Hot damn.
I go back to 1986.
Being old
it's
helps.
awesome to see how technologically advanced the MCU is and the Stark tech is. Because with the fight with Doc Ock, when he rips off the Iron Spider suit, and the way Peter wins it is literally with that Stark tech. When, Doc Ock's like the power that, a power from the sun or whatever, and he's looking at the arc reactor, and they're just like mesmerized by this tech. And how clean the energy is that Jamie Foxx says. That goes back to Avengers when he's like 100%, clean, renewable energy. I was like, oh my God, they're just down to the littlest things. Marvel understands how to sew its stories together so perfectly well. Dude, there are some flimsy points to this movie, but it really asks you straight away going, listen, we're going to do one thing that's seemingly a little flimsy here in terms of how the rules of this movie. We're about to break it. We're about to go on it. And as long as you're willing to take this flimsy excuse for the spell, you're going to have a really fun time. So are you really ready to have a really fun time? Great. And that's how Marvel is able to get away with flimsy plot devices, because the ride that they're going to take you on is fucking incredible. Like we even forgot the fight with Doctor Strange was
great,
phenomenal
with the mirror dimension and the folding trains and the building
geometry. You love geometry,
right.
And using the portals to get the webs in, very good. Very good.
Dude. And when he's like, what's cooler than magic? Math. I'm like, God damn it, Peter, you're such a freaking nerd. I love you.
It was very
perfect,
good,
man. I love it.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, really quickly, we did have the two stingers. So I just want to hit on this really quick. The fact that this Eddie Brock and this Venom is now out of the MCU.
Right.
Which is good.
Thank God.
So now we have the little bit of the little symbiote, meaning we can get a new version. And what I think would be perfect is this Flash becomes this Venom.
Yes, it's what I literally said to my brother. And and with that, you could do so much with.
He knows
because he
reveres Spidey.
Yeah, he reveres Spidey, exactly. So
that's
he would have
exactly
to have
the excuse,
Spidey to betray him in some fashion, a la Eddie Brock, and So that is interesting. So that does mean that this Venom comes from kind of an extra-dimensional source, and
Sony can
still Secret Wars.
Yeah, and Sony can still do their crappy Venom if they want to. It's fun, but they're letting. I think that's probably part of a deal that we can do our own Venom if you want to continue this relationship, which I think is great. But lastly. The last stinger was one of the worst stingers ever because essentially it was just a trailer for the next movie.
It's just a trailer.
Well, as I told you, as soon as you said, Todd, it was exactly what we got at the after the credits of Captain America: The First Avenger. It was simply a trailer for the next film. Even though, but that one for the Avengers was cut a little bit more kind of dramatically, where this was just straight up story beats. It wasn't like, in 2012, here's some slow motion and here's some other look, it's Tony Stark talking to Thor. Oh my God. It was just they didn't make it so dumb. But you got Strange talking to Wanda. You've seen America Chavez in the background. She's going to be a major character.
That's right.
And the thing about it that was interesting is that you saw Evil Strange from the What If animated, which is the first crossover which will it give us Peggy Cap? Please give us Peggy
I
Cap
think we're all
in
in.
live action. Oh my God, yeah.
If Daredevil, Kingpin, we've got the What If universe,
Right.
all of these
They're
things, MCU,
God bless.
WandaVision's repercussions, so they're all blending it together. And God Almighty,
Yeah.
if Kevin Feige ever leaves, God bless MCU because you're screwed.
Yeah, right. Let's not talk about such things. But as you had mentioned, we are out of time. So 1 out of 10 pumpkin bombs. Joe, 1 out of 10 pumpkin bombs.
10 out of 10. The only Spider-Man movie I prefer is Into the Spider-Verse because it's amazing. It's
Gotcha.
literally just
I'm gonna have to go with 9 out of 10, simply because the stingers were wasteful for me, and my hatred of Tom Hardy Venom pollutes all things. But other than that, the core film, delightful.
You know Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso was his bartender?
Oh, that was
I thought it was
great.
awesome.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Charlie doesn't watch Ted Lasso, so
I-
you won't get it.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
please.
I'll give it an 8.5 because I really a big Spider-Man fan, but not as big as other people. So I did see some things that kind of annoyed me. So I'm like, okay, but still a great movie, really fun, really good time. Yeah, can't wait to see what happens next to the MCU because I don't think we're getting anything until Doctor Strange, which is 6 months away.
Woo!
All right. Well, that is
I dig it. All right.
yes. So Joe, before we go, tell people where they can find you.
So you can find me over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. And yeah, we never miss a week. Even with the holiday season, we're gonna have a holiday show. So, please stop on by, wave at us, tell us where you came from, all that stuff. You can find me over at Mr. Badbit. You can find the show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. And yeah. Oh, also, if you could, rate us 5 stars on Spotify, because you could do that now.
Absolutely. Joe, always a treat, folks. Listen to Joe's end of year words. They are excellent. A lot of fun. If you want to find out what's great about PlayStation, listen to Joe and subscribe.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. And as for me, as always, you can find me over on Twitter at the C3, spell it out. Also at USS Grand Petoskey, I'm run the Star Trek International Fan Club chapter in Michigan. That's across all socials. Just Google it on up. And I also run our Secret Friends Unite socials when I can, posting fun, interesting, or weird content over on our Facebook group and etc. So, Todd?
Yes, and follow me on Twitter, primarily, at Toxtra. I'm there to have fun, interact with all the geeks, and hopefully cause some mischief and make some fun. So follow me there. I retweet the Secret Friends Unite stuff and make sure it's being shared with the masses. So there you go, folks. And remember, for all things Secret Friends Unite, www.secretfriendsunite.com. So with that, we say good night. Charlie, take us out.
That's what I say, friends. Thank you as always for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In the truck.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Todd.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.